Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. CNN panel has a meltdown because Nancy Mace, Congresswoman, is mispronouncing Kamala Harris. And it seems to be a big issue. Not policies, nothing like that, but the pronunciation of a name. It's very, very interesting to see when they get called out in regards to what policy she has, what she's actually putting forth in terms of what she's going to do for the country. All of that is just like, never mind that. How did you pronounce her name? And again, it's Kamala for anybody that doesn't understand. Okay, pronounce it right or you're a bigot, apparently. This is very, very interesting stuff, guys. I'm going to show you a couple of clips here, okay? This gentleman right here, his anger was building up, okay? It started like this.
Hour or more, taking questions, giving a speech, because if you're holding your breath for an Oscar nod, that he did that, don't hold your breath because no one's going to believe you. This is what he does. He stands, he gives speeches, he takes the questions, he gives the answers. And to date, more than 3 weeks in, Kamala Harris hasn't given a single interview. She hasn't come on your program. She's not answering questions.
It's
She's not
Kamala,
giving
first
speeches.
of all. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. And she's not yet the candidate. She's only been in office, only been a candidate for 3.5 weeks.
She's been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah, and Trump went a whole primary season without even doing a debate.
And
so,
half
you
of
know,
America
but you can't.
isn't stupid because the Republicans in this country
But it's a
voted
false.
for him, nominated him. She didn't earn a single vote in the Republican.
got but you-
See how when he was confronted with what Kamala has done or lack thereof, because she hasn't been doing much, J.D. Vance called her out from running away from the media, and we've all seen it. Every time she's on stage, it's either to introduce Megan Thee Stallion and she starts twerking, or, you know, just talking about, you know, Tim Walsh is saying, we're going to bring the joy and the humor back. It's like, bro, groceries. Are you crazy? Joy and humor? Don't worry, we're good. They got stand-up comedians for that. What are you talking about? He's like, we're going to bring the joy back and the humor back. Have you seen Donald Trump on stage, buddy? But it didn't stop there. It happened once again. Nancy Mace made the critical mistake of saying the name wrong again.
Kamala Harris comes out with her no taxes.
Kamala.
Harris comes out with her policies on no taxes on tips, which is Donald Trump's policy, by the way. All of the headlines on mainstream media were positive and glorious and thoughtful.
I guess y'all are
It's
standing
just a
up for him
different
because he
standard.
didn't say any of this today. Everything you're saying
this
is
a
nothing he's
question.
ever said.
One of the things that we learned about her.
Now that was it again. He got a little mad. He said, Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. It's Kamala. Okay? And then the third time, Nancy Mace had enough. But before I show you that clip, let me just show you this gentleman who says it's such a racist endeavor to mispronounce Kamala's name. Okay? He even gets it wrong.
In terms of Kamala not speaking about Vice President
What was that, sir? What was that, you bigot? What'd you say?
Least to set the tone. Here's what's important. First of all, in terms of Kamala not speaking about Vice President Harris.
How dare he? How dare he, sir? Are you with us or against us? But this is the third time Nancy Mace made the mistake of mispronouncing Kamala's name. And this gentleman right here has had enough. Let's go.
Trump is in a very vulnerable
Talk
position.
about rerun Kamala's.
Kamala. You had it right. You almost got it.
I will
You
say
almost
Kamala's
did it.
name any way that I want to.
No, but you mispronounced her and you also misjudged
I
her.
just did, and I'll do it again.
mispronouncing her name.
That's a
Kamala's
refusal
policy
to acknowledge her
And
humanity.
if I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies are Joe Biden's policies. She owns
You're
it.
normalizing
33
that kind of
times.
viciousness, man.
33 times. She
you
was the
disrespect
deciding
the
vote,
Senate.
and she was the vice on Joe Biden's bills. She was 33 times the deciding vote on Joe Biden's bills in the Senate.
And let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a
BS.
racist.
That is complete
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish
you are
it.
intending that
Your
I am
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and
offensive.
parcel of a
Why
tradition
can't you
of
just-
disrespect.
Why
It's
can't you just,
offensive,
Congresswoman,
and it's,
why can't you
it's
just,
offensive.
why
That
can't
is
I'm not calling you a
disgusting.
racist. I'm
No,
saying
you are.
what the
You
practice
are.
is
You
racist.
are. You
Why can't
absolutely
you
are.
just
the
hear
practice
what
is
I'm
racist.
saying?
Let me get
Disrespecting.
your
No, what's disgusting
That
is
is
your
disgusting.
disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said,
You know what?
I didn't know her name.
Disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White
I
women don't
became-
have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25
and
years ago,
respected
I
your
became the
humanity.
first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I
So call her
fought my
name
way
right.
through it.
So
Tooth
pronounce
and
her
nail,
name
blood,
right.
sweat,
Let
and
me
tears.
actually
So pronounce her name
and
right.
Kamala Harris, if I
Kamala.
were a man,
Kamala. You said
I
this
will
we don't
say
call you Nancy
anything that I
Nancy.
want.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's
You're
Kamala.
doing
You're
this on
disrespect-
purpose,
I am
That's
not.
disrespectful.
Just a second.
You can't expect people to
If
respect
a
your
man put
service
on
if
a
you don't
skirt
respect
and walked
hers.
that stage 20
Oh man, look how fed up he is. He's just so tired of the injustice that has been pushed upon him when someone mispronounces the name Cumbera. You know, it's Cumbera Harris, and if anybody can't get that straight, you know, I don't know what to do for you, okay? Especially because you know it's white disregard to get Kamala wrong, right? It's white disregard. These guys actually jumped down this woman's throat as a racist. And this only reason this is happening, I'm showing you clips of this. Only reason this is happening is because Nancy Mace is making the argument that Kamala doesn't have much in regards. I said it wrong again, right? Right? I don't even know what to say anymore. Hey, let's just call her Camila. Whatever. As long as it starts with an A or starts with a K and there's an A in there, you're good. Who cares? Harris. I don't know. Come on, man. And let me just tell you something really quick with the pronunciation of her name. If she's really Jamaican, okay? My father was Jamaican, okay? I have grandparents and great-grandparents and great-grandparents that were Jamaican, okay? If your name's Kamala, whatever it is, let me tell you something. If you're in a Jamaican household, they just say, "Hey, Kamala, 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 Kamala." They're not even gonna bother pronouncing all the syllables in your name. They're just gonna string it together. They're gonna put a K at the beginning. And honestly, if you're half Indian, like she says, or full Indian, they're gonna say brown girl, brown gal, come here, brown gal. That's all they're gonna say. They're gonna give you a nickname. They're probably gonna call you Little Indian or something like that. That's how it works in Jamaican households. You think she'd be used to it? I don't know. It's weird. It's a very, that's weird, right? Very odd what's going on. But Nancy was just pointing out how there's no substance to what she's been running. She's been running on nothing. One gentleman on this panel even said her platform is like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. Which is so true. There's nothing to it. There's no policies. And the only thing she's brought up about policy so far, the tax on tips, was something that Trump just said weeks before. And he was saying it over and over and over again. And then she just repeated the same thing. That's it. That's all we've really seen, And then when you get to, I'm just going to bring this up really quick. What this guy chose to say about Trump.
To migrants, you can't even have 100% of new jobs going to migrants. It's not only mathematically impossible, it's just plain stupid. And how does this guy get taken seriously? How is it that he is a presidential candidate for the highest office in our country when he can't even complete a press conference without spewing lies and misinformation? And
so this guy, in the first minute of this panel, calls Donald Trump a liar, calls Donald Trump stupid. He's spreading misinformation, all within the first minute. All Nancy Mace did, okay? All Nancy did was just say a name wrong. And honestly, I don't even think it's wrong. It's very interesting how that happens. And one thing they were talking about was, Kamala Harris's website or Trump. They're saying Trump has no policies whatsoever. Kamala has all these great policies. And then they brought up when you go to her website. And I was like, I've never been to her website. Let's check out her website. And these people, the Republicans on that panel, they were right. There's nothing. It's just meet Kamala Harris, and it just tells you a bunch of stuff about her with these pictures. That's it. Then you got meet Tim Walz. And this is nonsense. I mean, it's a bunch about Tim Walz, but it doesn't even mention tampons. Like, that's his trademark thing. Like, it's so weird. But that's all there is. And then take action, which means that they want your information. They just want you to donate. They want your information so they can send you stuff. There's actually nothing on this website about policy. Contrast, you go over to Donald Trump's website. Let me shrink this a little bit. The first thing you see, it's all about his policies. In fact, within the first 10 words, they say click here so you can actually see something that he put together about the reform that he wants to do. All of the policies he wants to do. Let me make this a little bigger for folks at home. These are all of the policies, step by step, that he wants to see happen in the United States. He wants to seal the border right away. That's initiative 1. Seal the border, stop the immigrant invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Stop sourcing. He has it all laid out. All laid out. Think about that in comparison to Kamala's website, what you just saw. And then he actually has something that's laid out. So he already had all this in video form. And I've shown you guys that before. But this, to the forgotten men and women of America. And then he has this whole thing about what he wants to do. It is all laid out for anyone to download, defeat inflation, quickly bring down all the prices, seal the border, build the greatest economy in the. It's all laid out. He's not just saying these things. He actually has it laid out of what he wants to do. This is a how many page document? This is a 15-page document that you can download at a moment's notice. You can read this on your phone. And then on top of that, he has Agenda 47 that he has pretty much laid out for you. Everything's here. So to say Donald Trump doesn't have any policies is crazy. Listen, I always acknowledge my biases. Then he has news as well. I always acknowledge my biases. But this is not biased. I'm pulling up 2 websites. I didn't doctor Kamala Harris's website. There's the first thing you see. Oh my God. In regular Donald Trump form, the first thing you see is Comrade Kamala goes full communist. This is actually interesting, though. I pulled this up and I looked at this and I was like, what is this? And this is what they have. This is actually, I've never seen anything like this. So they're talking about she wants to unveil a government price fixing scheme today that's more reminiscent of a third world regime than the United States. Now, that's a statement, and that's a very Donald Trump type of statement. But it goes on, and it's, some funny stuff, the president or dictator, or whatever you want to call it, of, Maduro would be proud, Maduro, whatever. I've been saying Kamala for the past 10 minutes, so I don't really care. Then what's your opinion? Calls you communist. Maybe you don't. So here's the thing. It's a little bit of a blurb that's kind of funny, big statement. But then they just have article after article from the mainstream news supporting what Donald Trump is saying. So these are all articles about this whole price fixing thing that she wants to do. So you start to actually get painted a different picture of what this is and how bad it can actually be. So one from The Guardian, price controls and scarcity force Venezuela to turn to black markets for milk and toilet paper. 100% true. CNN, think corporate greed is leading to the cause of inflation. Think again. They have a whole expose on how it's not corporate greed. Reuters, Venezuela sets new price controls with eggs costing more than a month's wages. New York Times, price controls on food are usually futile, economists warn. World Bank Group, price controls, good intentions, bad outcomes. New York Times again. With Venezuela food shortages, some blame price controls. So the things that she, once again, and I've said this before, I'm about to do a video about Dave Smith. Dave Smith is saying that she's not a Marxist. He's putting out tweets saying, oh, just because she says Marxist things doesn't mean she's a Marxist. I'm going to get into it later, but somebody asked in the comments like, oh, why would you rather hear Joe Rogan talk about politics than Dave Smith? That's why, because he misses the conspiratorial part that is sometimes not conspiratorial at all. You're just digging a little deeper and seeing things a little different. But this whole thing shows another step that she's taking towards a more, I'm not going to say full-blown communism, because I've actually been researching communism, and it never comes in just one big wave. Someone doesn't just arrive and go communism and then that's it. It's always step by step by step by step. I've seen it before. I've heard Karl Marx's story. I've heard Lenin's story now. We're starting to get into Mao and things like that. So it's always step by step, you know? And if she's talking about gun control or a gun ban, she's not even talking about control. She's talking about banning, right? That's an infancy thing. It starts small. It doesn't quite touch on the Second Amendment, but it does, but not so much that people can get up in arms. Just a little ban here. Everyone can agree on that. And the people who disagree are, you know, dismissed as racist and misogynist and all that. But it happens step by step. So the gun control that she's talking about, the equity of everybody ending up in the same place. And now she's actually doing price fixing. She's doing the things that take a country down the road towards communism. That's all I'm saying. It's a step-by-step process. So Donald Trump is a step in one direction. She is a step in another direction. And it's a big step. It's not a small step. But just wanted to say all that. I know it was a little funny at the beginning, mispronouncing Kamala. I mean, it's such an easy name to pronounce. It's Kamala, like, come on. And how, you know, you're racist if you mispronounce it, down to some more gritty details. But I just found that very interesting on Donald Trump's website. Shout out to whoever did that on his site. You know, that's beautifully done. Beautifully done. And it just sets the tone. So it's not just Donald Trump ranting and raving. He's saying something that has absolute substance. So when you hear him talk about this price fixing scheme that Kamala Harris has going on, just know it's not rhetoric. It's not just insults. It's not just him trying to insult her or anything like that. It's actually something that is not good for the American people. Cuban government imposes price control as it seeks to keep lid on inflation. Wow. Just right there. That's exactly what's happening. Everybody sees inflation's going nuts. Cuba does that. And then what else do they do? Once they have the price fixing, they have more control. I don't know, man. I'm not even going to get into it. I just think she's bad for America, you know. Anyways, guys, little fun here and a little bit of information, a little dark information for you. You know, we like to keep it balanced here. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out.